10 minutes, period. How much time do you have?
This is Buckeye legend Mike Tomczak, and you're listening to OVE Podcast. It's Ohio versus everyone. Subscribe, like, listen, and follow, and don't forget your comments. Here's the show, and remember to always wash your BALLS.
I always wonder if Tomczak remembers he said that to the 2002 Buckeye team before they entered the field against Miami. Obviously he does. Always wash your balls. It's the OVE podcast on a Tuesday. Wrestling today, Ohio versus everyone. We try to give it to you multiple times a week. If you are a wrestling fan, and if you're watching us on X or Facebook or iTunes, there's another way you can get our video shorts as well, and that's on YouTube. YouTube.com at Ohio versus everyone. We do the live show every day at 3, but we also, Robert and I, and I'm going to introduce him in a matter of moments. We do video shorts, about 5 minutes long, talking about what's going on in wrestling, almost instant reaction after a big event. So if you want more wrestling coverage outside of this podcast, YouTube.com at Ohio versus everyone. If you're hurt at work or in an accident, let him go to work for you. Robert Schuerger, warforyou.com. What's up, BJ? How are you?
Hey, Torg. What a weekend, huh?
Oh, dude, it's you know what it is? It's one of those rare occasions where wrestling has taken on kind of the national spotlight a little bit. I know there's tariffs going on and everybody's freaking out about that. I could care less. I am on a high 3 days later on a Tuesday from Elimination Chamber 2025, which will forever known as the John Cena heel turn.
Oh yeah, on par with the Hogan turn. You know, we talked about in an emergency podcast we did this weekend. Cena and this heel turn really has changed the trajectory and the dynamics of this WrestleMania. I think it's going to be a great one. I think we're finally going to see these narratives come together, and in a way where we called it. This is what you thought needed to happen in order for us to get excited about Cody Rhodes' tenure as the world champion. And with John Cena turning heel now, with the final boss on his heels, we have a true heel against Cody Rhodes' championship.
It's amazing too when you think about the NWO, and that probably was the biggest, heel turn. I think maybe Andre and Hulk Hogan maybe would be the big one, but nothing like the NWO. And it took BJ over 25 years to reach something to the status. Now you've had, everybody will remember the Shield, and that's an ongoing storyline, and we'll probably see that brought up again in WrestleMania, where Reigns and Rollins just couldn't let that go. And then you saw Dean Ambrose towards the end of his run there, where he just couldn't let it go when he had that mini feud against Seth Rollins. So that's something that's been simmering. I think that might have been, you sandwich it in between where you had the NWO, John Cena's heel turn, the Shield a level, like a B student type level. But maybe it's not as shocking, or maybe it is, and we're just kind of used to it in wrestling. But I think John Cena's heel turn might be the biggest heel turn in WWE history. In WWE, remember WCW was that?
Yeah. WCW was Hogan. I agree, and I give Triple H credit for giving, for shaking it up like this, and I give John Cena credit for this character that he built for all these years. The fact that he's in Hollywood, and now he's really going to be able to act out where he began as sort of, when he was at first a heel, it was kind of a comedic heel. He had a great rap down. It was a great foil for Vince McMahon and crew. But this heel is more menacing. This is that final boss henchman type menacing heel. I like the look on his face. I like the way he's carrying himself right now, not saying much, not changing character, sticking to the script to make sure that, he gets his 17th belt. We saw Flair even come out and had a few words for John Cena on that heel turn.
Oh, really? I didn't see it. What did he say?
Yeah. Flair called him out. Flair said if it gets too bad in the ring, he's coming out himself. Even if he's got to come out with one leg to take Cena on for what they did to Cody Rhodes.
Oh, that's so good. That's typical Flair. Who just had a birthday, by the way.
Flair
just had a birthday. Yeah.
Wow.
I think he might be 75 or a little older.
He's still going.
Dude, it's intense, isn't it? I just think it was well done, because you bring in The Rock, and the one great thing about this, and The Rock is so powerful in the WWE, is probably the only people who knew this was Rock and Triple H. When they started, Rock talked about, hey, this goes way back.
Yeah.
They probably threw out there that The Rock was busy during WrestleMania to throw, Rock says he can't.
Well, they did. I mean, for a while there, they were
lying, I think. But they were lying, right?
Yeah, no. Well, or WWE was lying and the dirt sheets were putting it out, or the dirt sheets were doing the bidding for the WWE by echoing it out there into the WWE universe to make people believe that The Rock wasn't going to be around for this WrestleMania.
Yeah, now there's two different things when it comes to wrestling. There's the fan in me who's going to sit back and watch this develop and enjoy every second of it. We're 5 weeks away from WrestleMania. So a lot of things can happen that I'm going to throw out that I think could be tied into this that could make this event or this storyline even cooler. But the guy who does the podcast with you has my mind racing of how they are going to take this, what they're going to do with it. You have to be really careful of how you pull this out, because Rock set the standard of how to storytell and build up for WrestleMania. WrestleMania last year was great. It was iconic. It was, Cody Rhodes living his dream. It was the bloodline, the family. Seth Rollins comes in. No, I'm going to stop this. I'm going to put my body and my title on the line. It's just all these storylines came together. Hell, you had legends of the past hit the ring to help Cody Rhodes, get his dream. And it was a 2-night dream, too. It was the tag team the first night, and then the second night, Rhodes versus Reigns. So this to me it went from, we mentioned it when we did our Sunday morning podcast, a quick little 10-minute thing. We mentioned it then. This is so well done by every party in it, and it's just going to be a pleasure, because we went into not liking this WrestleMania. And by the way, we'll get your comments. Super chats are up, by the way. We do have the super chats are up, but we're very interactive. Little Lily just hit out. We'll take your comments. We mentioned how coming in, this WrestleMania card kind of sucked. It was mid. Now The Rock and John Cena are teaming up, and now you are emotionally involved in what's going on in this WrestleMania.
Well, and it needed it, because if Jey Uso and Gunther was going to be the real attraction, I think we had a real problem pulling in people. Particularly now, it's going to be at Las Vegas, where that's a destination to begin with. They're going to want to put on a massive show. So I'm elated that they did that. And now Uso and Gunther can be the appropriate undercard on the WrestleMania ticket.
Yeah, Triple H came out, if you missed it, and said that we don't have the co-main event yet. That tells me one thing. They were hoping that this Gunther Jey Uso would catch fire, and it's just simply not. We'll get into that. That pay-per-view, the way it played out, because not only did it set up the Cena and man, it was just great how they executed it, setting up this main event with The Rock. And the one thing that I love about this is, and then Cena talking about Little Italy brings up the point here. I love the turn. It could see Cena saying he had no choice. He hasn't won in years. He didn't win in 7 years.
Yeah.
Up until the Elimination Chamber. He needed it. It's got to be one of those things where, and who knows when he's going to talk. He's only got a certain amount of dates. I think he's in Budapest right now, right?
Yeah, back to filming.
Yeah, so who knows when we're even going to see John Cena.
No, that's the other thing. The fact that he's able to leave this kind of imprint, go off, continue to do his movie, possibly maybe do a flash bomb somewhere via the big screen. If they're, as we lead up to it, it shows the kind of impact that this has, and also the kind of following that Cena still has in the WWE universe. We talked about this last year. I mean, The Rock coming back is what brought the heat for that WrestleMania. Cena coming back is what's brought the heat for this WrestleMania. I love bringing some of these old warriors back to mix it in with the new warriors to help give them relevance and raise their profile so that they continue to keep an interest, so that the torch continue to be carried.
Well, it's almost like you brought in Cena and he wins the Royal Rumble, and we're like, oh no, Cena's gonna, or he didn't win the Royal Rumble, excuse me. But it was almost like, oh no, Cena's back. He's gonna be in the main event against Cody. Oh boy. the quest for his 17th belt. How lame. I mean, people were not excited for this John Cena.
Well, yeah, because partly it was good guy versus good, face versus face. I mean, that's not, nobody wants to see a face-face match at WrestleMania. There's no heat.
Yeah, and two, it was like, all right, well, he hasn't been back in forever, and he's going to insert himself into it. It's like, what chance does he have? Well, now with The Rock behind him and Travis Scott's there, and I'm going to point out a little wrinkle that I think is going to happen as we're 5 weeks away from WrestleMania, because you just have to watch what Rock did, and I think that there's another component that we're going to talk about here in a little bit. But it went from, oh, Cena's back, okay, to, oh, man, Cena's back. Now we're excited. Now he made this run where, BJ, if his run was, I got to do it. I got to go for 17. I got to do it with me. You know, hustle, loyalty, respect. Like, blah, blah, blah. We've seen that crap, right? It would be kind of like a lame run. And then now we look at it as heel Cena, and he's got the evil look, and he comes in the press conference and he does the mic drop. This is a John Cena that I can get behind, right?
Yes.
I for a final run, I can't get behind good guy John Cena. I just couldn't. I couldn't get I respect the guy. I thought his final full-time run was as good as any. I thought he was wrestling as good as he ever has. But I couldn't get behind the you can't see me guy again. But now.
Well, no, it wouldn't have worked against Cody Rhodes unless Rhodes turned heel.
Yeah,
and Rhodes made the decision to not turn heel and to spit in the final boss's face, basically, and allowed Cena the opening to take the mantle.
Yeah, and listen, they can easily do, if John wants to go out a bad guy, is SummerSlam or whenever he's up, Survivor Series Elimination Chamber. You can do the old, I was wrong, I sold out. You know, you could do all that stuff and then have Cena give the attitude adjustment to Rock. I mean, there's plenty of ways out there. Let me throw this at you, though, a hidden layer, and then we'll move on to some other stuff. Do you remember when it was Survivor Series, correct, where Rock came out and made an appearance and he just did the throats?
Oh, you mean from the aisle?
Yeah, that was no. He came out. Didn't he come out of Gorilla? And then all he did is show up and just.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Who has been attacking Cody Rhodes the last couple SmackDowns?
Outside of
Solo Sikoa.
Yeah, Sikoa. Yeah. The Bloodline. Yeah.
What match did Rock come out of? It was Bloodline versus Bloodline.
Yep.
Could Solo Sikoa, to give an extra level to this, because remember, we're 51 days away. There's no Paul Heyman. There's no Rock. There's no Cena. There's just Cody Rhodes, right? Could Solo Sikoa have been, just for storyline purposes, working with Rock, gets the direction from Rock, hey, take out Cody. That's why Solo's taking out Cody every week, because Rock is telling him. And then now you have the final boss, bad guy heel John Cena, Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, Tonga Loa, right? And now you have 5 guys. 2 of them aren't on TV, but it continues this narrative in the storyline because Solo and Jacob Fatu are on SmackDown every week. You need something, if you don't have Paul Heyman, to carry the storyline week by week. That's why something tells me that they're going to put the Solo Jacob Fatu in with The Rock. That's why I said last week, I don't think you're going to see Jacob Fatu and Solo wrestle each other in WrestleMania. I said there's going to be something more. They're doing it too quick to do that heel turn 2 months before WrestleMania. I think you're going to see The Rock's involvement with Solo Sikoa.
And we're still waiting to see what favor CM Punk's looking to cash in with Paul Heyman.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, that's going to have to happen here coming up, or else I don't know how, if he's a year from now, he's going to say you still owe me the favor.
I got a theory there too, because let's talk Elimination Chamber. If you missed it, not only did they set up the John Cena heel turn, but they also set up a good story. I think this match told a good story, because sometimes matches don't tell the story you want them to. And I think in this Elimination Chamber, Drew McIntyre loses right away again, right?
Yeah.
Seth Rollins gets double teamed by Punk and Cena. Seth Rollins should have took John Cena out and pinned him, but he didn't. And his revenge of CM Punk got the best of him again, right?
Yep.
Punk is by the steps. Rollins stops him. John Cena, like, didn't we say we called this one? Cena would take advantage in the 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
Doing that, right? I think that was easy that you could see that was coming. But now you had CM Punk starting Raw, BJ, and CM Punk might have been a top 3 promo in his career. I mean,
that was great. I mean, he hit on them all between The Rock, Cena, and Seth Rollins. I mean, he hammered all of them in his promo.
Yeah, and you know what was the smart thing there by
Triple H? And the crowd loved it. I mean, the crowd was all over it.
I don't know why he's over with the crowd, but he is. I mean, I respect him. Great wrestler. I don't know if anyone's ever better on the mic has been better on the mic than him. I just don't like the part where he craps on the fans for 10 years, tried to destroy the WWE, and then he comes back and everybody forgets what happened behind the scenes. That's my only beef. And much like Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, I think they're pretty honest guys where they say the dude's an asshole. I kind of believe that stuff, but I don't think the fans care and they're just enjoying the ride, and we probably should too.
They enjoy the anti-establishment rhetoric. I mean, that's one of the things that Punk's the best at. I mean, he rages against the machine, and he does it well, and it's a shtick that he's had for years. And as we saw last night, it doesn't get old. I mean, Rhea Ripley and Seth Rollins should probably team up because they seem to get distracted pretty often and don't keep their eye on the prize and end up losing.
Here's a good one, Little Italy. I enjoy CM Punk. I don't like Phil Brooks. Right call. Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. I like CM Punk. I don't like Phil Brooks. But you know what was good last night, BJ, with the setup with Rollins and Punk fighting all over the place, is they didn't let Rollins talk. CM Punk did a pipe bomb of a promo. The worst thing WWE could have done is have Rollins take the mic and go, oh, whoa, Punk, right? Because then he would have got booed out of the place. Triple H has done a good job of blurring the lines of the good guys.
Yeah,
right.
The anti-heroes.
I
mean, he's right now. He's the best at producing the characters that could be seen as heels in certain predicaments, but also could be seen as faces because of the rhetoric that they use and the promos they put together.
Yeah, because I don't want this guy. I don't want Seth Rollins to be heel. I want him to be heel against CM Punk, but not complete heel. Because while they fight, Seth Rollins is still going to fight the Finn Balor's and the quote unquote heels. Just in this feud, he's going to, Ultimate Warrior Hulk Hogan. He's going to be the quote unquote heel because that's the role he's going to play. I thought it was well done. The worst thing they could have did is give Rollins a mic, and then Rollins goes, all right, cheer for the same old crap that he had. Instead, they get right to it. Then yesterday, they call for a steel cage match on Raw. Something tells me, though, something's going to go wrong. Or maybe Seth Rollins wins and they do part 3 at WrestleMania. I can't see CM Punk winning this because if he does, why even have a match between the two at WrestleMania? And if you include Roman Reigns in it, who cares? CM Punk has already beat Seth Rollins twice on Raw.
Yeah, you're right. There's going to be some type of interference or something, I think, that's going to bring Rollins to win at the in the cage.
Yeah, or what if it's not Rollins and Punk? What if the favor, I don't think this is going to happen, but what if the favor, BJ, is I want a main event WrestleMania. I moved on from one guy in the Shield. Hey, Paul Heyman, you get me Roman Reigns in the main event. Get me to wrestle Roman Reigns and I'll main event WrestleMania. That's a match everybody, because CM Punk could easily come out and go, would you like to see me main event WrestleMania?
Yeah.
And then he calls out Paul Heyman and he says, Paul, you owe me a favor. I want Roman Reigns main event and WrestleMania, and the crowd would go nuts. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying if with 50 days left, it's a long time in wrestling.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, you've got how many Raws and SmackDowns up until we get to there?
Yeah. So it's easy to do with Cena and Rhodes because they're not going to be around. Yeah. It's easy to do with Orton and Owens because Owens could go away a little bit that he's hurt. But you need probably a good 30 days to pump a WrestleMania. I mean, Seth and Punk are fighting in a cage match. I just don't know. Maybe they do a 3-way dance, but that's a long buildup between Punk and Rollins with no Reigns. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think part of it is it's at Madison Square Garden. So I think they're almost treating it as a PLE, but it's not to a certain degree just because of the location and the venue. I get the feel of that. I mean, the kind of buildup that they're doing for the MSG Raw. But you're right. It also has to fit in with the overall narrative, and you can't butcher it just for a short-term gain at a Monday Night Raw at Madison Square Garden.
Put us in the comments. Let me know what do you think? Who should CM Punk wrestle in WrestleMania? What is going to be the co-main event? What should be the co-main event at WrestleMania? Is the rumors true? Should it be a three-way dance between Rollins, Reigns, and Punk? You could easily do it. You could, easily. But I think Monday you can't have Seth Rollins lose. It doesn't work like that. I mean, Punk, I think, has the carte blanche to call his shots. But I think what's best for business for CM Punk would to be somehow lose Monday night. Drew McIntyre gets involved. Logan Paul can get involved, right? You could have multiple ways to cause CM Punk to lose that and then still continue to have that three-way dance in WrestleMania. But I'm just curious, how do we get there? And how does Roman Reigns insert himself? Because we know Reigns, BJ, has an issue with Rollins, but how do we get the heat with Roman Reigns and CM Punk?
Yeah, and I think you almost have to use Paul Heyman as the spark to create that, just because of what went down with Punk and Heyman. I think that's the easiest way to create heat between Rollins and Punk.
Yeah, I definitely agree. You got to use Paul Heyman. It's got to be one of those where it's almost like CM Punk is telling Paul Heyman, I'm really the head of the table. Like, I am the best wrestler in the Paul Heyman stable. I'm better than Roman Reigns. You're best. Your your guy is me. I'm the guy. I'm the best in the world, not Roman Reigns. Which that might start Paul Heyman go, well, in all due respect, Punk kind of thing. You're great, but no one's as good as the tribal chief. And that may get it going using Paul Heyman as the guy. Well, you're good. You're the second best, but you're not as good as the tribal chief. Because you could easily have Seth Rollins get hurt in the cage or whatever and go away for a couple of weeks and then build that CM Punk Roman Reigns without Roman Reigns even being there.
Oh yeah, easily. Particularly with the way that they dig into the story.
Yeah, be sure to like the podcast as well. If you're on YouTube, give it a little thumb. Subscribe, like, follow, share. Let's take a quick break. We're back in 60 seconds. Randy Orton returned. Jade Cargill returned. We had a women's main event, but now it's changed, which I think is odd. We'll do all of it next on the OVE podcast.
We go to war for you.
At Schuerger Trial Attorneys, we don't back down. Accident? Call us today at 877-WAR-FOR-YOU or visit warforyou.com for a free consultation. Know your rights because results matter. That's 877-WAR-FOR-YOU. 877-WAR-FOR-YOU or visit warforyou.com.
War for you, warforyou.com.
Dan Robb Management has over 40 years experience in all aspects of payroll, processing checks, tax filing, W-2 and 1099 preparation. First-time customers get 50% off their first 3 months processing fees. Give them a call now, 614-297-1158 or denrobmanagement.com. OVE podcast on a Tuesday, doing some wrestling, some Elimination Chamber recap, some Raw recap. Want you to put in the comments, what do you think should be the co-main event in WrestleMania? We know one side, Cody versus John Cena. What should be the other side? Obviously, the Gunther and Jey Uso thing not getting the kind of reaction WWE wants. I think they love the Jey Uso reaction.
Yeah.
I just don't know, and we'll get into this a little bit, of the Gunther, I don't respect you is the way to go. I don't think that moves the needle in the WWE universe, and I think that it's kind of a failed angle with a very popular wrestler, and it's almost like, how the hell do we get the belt off this guy kind of thing. Let's talk Randy Orton return Elimination Chamber. That was a brutal match between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Predictable, right?
Yeah.
Randy Orton comes out. Love to see Randy Orton come back. Love to see Kevin Owens might be over the past 6 months, the best thing going in the WWE from the standpoint of, hey, we talked about this in AEW, how Hangman Adam Page went from these vicious feuds of these hate feuds of Swerve Strickland and different guys. And now he's got one of MJF, and they got a pay-per-view coming up where he's taking on MJF, where that's getting ugly, where everything Adam Page was doing, maybe it was Daniel Bryan, everything he was doing was this just nasty hatred that made you just, yes, I love what this guy's doing right now in AEW. It was one of the few things they were doing well. I think what Kevin Owens is doing is a page out of the Hangman Adam Page playbook. The last 3 feuds he's been in have been kick-ass, hateful stuff that I can really get behind.
Oh, yeah, and they've been brutal. I mean, Owens is getting himself up there as a known talent in brutality, which I'm glad that somebody's got that lane in WWE, and I think he's definitely fulfilling it.
Yeah,
You've always got to have one guy, whether it be Mankind. You've got to have somebody who's willing to go the extra mile to draw the blood within the within the family. And Kevin Owens, I think, is that person, like Mankind was back in the Attitude Era days.
Yeah, you don't have to win every feud if you're that guy.
Exactly.
You don't have.
If they know that you're willing to hurt them and lose, people will still watch and cheer for it. As long as they know you put everything you had out there, and they know that you're going to potentially draw blood or do what it takes, do something wild, you'll always be in the mix, even if you lose.
Bianca Belair winning the women's elimination chamber match, I think that was the way to go. I think you're seeing a heel change turn, right, for her.
Yeah. Why did we saw that on Monday Night Raw?
Yeah, why would she
last night?
Yeah, why would the good guy show up in a heavyweight title match and kind of get involved a little bit if she wasn't going for the heel turn? What I think is going to happen is, Naomi's out for a little bit with the injury to Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill's going to talk to Bianca Belair and say she was the one who took me out of action. And then Bianca Belair is going to say, no, we were the ones who took you out. And then turn on Jade and lay the stomping out. I think that's a great angle to take. Outside of Charlotte Flair, WWE desperately needs that female heel. Liv Morgan is kind of the second-tier person that you could put up front, like Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss is someone, all right, she could do some time in the main event scene, but she's not a main eventer, and Liv Morgan's not a main eventer. Charlotte Flair's a main eventer. Rhea Ripley's a main eventer. Bianca Belair is a main eventer. Jade Cargill's a main eventer. Nia Jax could be. We'll see if Tiffany Stratton. But this gives you, now that Tiffany Stratton's a good guy, it gives you that female heel, and she's a really good wrestler too. It's not one of those where it's a Bayley. It's Charlotte Flair level heel.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's where that's where we needed to go with it. And what happened last night is an interesting twist to all this whole dynamic with Sky taking the belt from Rhea Ripley right before WrestleMania. So it'd be interesting to see if Sky maybe even loses it before we get to WrestleMania, or if Triple H has some type of narrative where Sky's involved in it. I did not see that coming. That was like a 16th seed beat the first seed in the opening round of the NCAA tournament.
Well, they gave you a little bit from the standpoint, Rhea Ripley's never beat her. Nick D is on the chat, thinks that Rhea Ripley is the next female heel. I don't know. She's getting huge pops. I don't think she's the bad guy. I think Bianca Belair is going to be the bad guy because they're setting up that Jade Cargill, the tightness with Naomi. Unless they wanted to do the Naomi joins the bloodline thing, which I don't think they're going to do. I think Naomi and Bianca Belair turning heel makes more sense than Rhea Ripley turning heel for storyline purposes.
Well, the storyline, I think, for Rhea Ripley is going to be focus, right? I mean, one of the issues we saw last night was she took her eye off the prize, was focused on Belair, what was going on out there, wasn't focused in the ring, almost took it for granted, even though she's never beat Sky. But there was kind of a feeling of inevitability, I think, in her mind and in watching that match. And then the shock of Sky winning. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with Rhea Ripley. Judgment Day's busted up. She really doesn't have any friends anymore. Her posse's gone. Between Damian Priest on SmackDown now, You've got, Finn Balor, McDonough obviously out hurt, Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio. Rhea Ripley really doesn't have a home. So right now she's kind of on an island and she doesn't have a belt. So, but she still is one of the major stars in WWE. So you've got a lot to work with. You have a lot to work with here. So I'd be interested to see where Triple H takes this with Rhea Ripley.
It's the weird thing about this is Io Sky, she'll be going into a WrestleMania, presumably, the way it looks now, in back-to-back years as the champ in WrestleMania, which is weird because I thought they did a really piss-poor job of pushing her after she,
Yeah, she lost it quickly after WrestleMania. I mean, it was bad.
But she wasn't in nothing. They had to cheat to win when she was there. She didn't have any clear. We talked about with Cody. How do you build your championship to be a champion to be legit? You know what I mean? Like Damian Priest didn't have the signature wins. Gunther, what are his signature wins, right? Jey Uso is one, but Jey Uso is building his way to the top.
Well,
right?
and the other thing is,
how you build a champion, and they didn't build her.
And I think part of it is maybe some of the C-suites taking a look now that WWE is truly an international brand in terms of its reach and where it's going, not just a U.S.-centric brand. Particularly with the Netflix deal and the streaming. So they have to bring in champions, I think, and really create characters that also resonate with other audiences as well, not just ours.
Yeah, it'll be interesting where they go. That's something to watch.
Do they pump Sky up in Japan, right? In terms of what's going on there?
They never go there, though.
No, but I'm talking about from a streaming standpoint, right? In terms of creating the eyeballs to get people interested around the world, now that it's a global brand with the Netflix deal and not just and not just on the USA Network.
Well,
it's a lot easier.
They just build her with good matches against a good heel, right? I mean, that's how. Have Liv Morgan in 3 weeks right now challenge for the belt. Hand her people. Have Nia Jax come in.
Well, it's one of the reasons why I think they had Gunther make the run that he did when they took this over to Europe last year. I mean, between him and Ludwig Kaiser, Kaiser made that run really up until they went to Berlin. So It wasn't, they kind of created some hometown or home country momentum. And we know that Europe's a big market that WWE is trying to cultivate. Obviously, Japan always has been. So you never know if some of these, some of these details are behind some of the decisions they make. Because if it was just U.S.-centric, Gunther right now is not producing enough heat to create the kind of pops that I think WWE is looking for.
Well, what I think with Gunther is it's a failed angle. Is they had a guy who,
and he's great in the ring. I mean,
he's fantastic. He cut down his weight, did all the right things they wanted him to do. It was almost like one of those, all right, let's give this guy the ball and see if he can run with it, right? A true wrestler. Let's get rid of Kaiser so he's not cheating to win. He's going to clean pin guys. He's going to get over Jey Uso. The problem is there's nothing there. The angle appears to be, I don't respect you, Jey Uso. And in 2025, BJ, in WrestleMania 2025, you got to give me something more than I don't think you're good enough to beat me. It's kind of Bret Hart stuff.
Yeah, that stuff doesn't move me. I mean, that's not the kind of heat that gets me to sit down and dig in. Now, the saving grace is the fact that Yeet and Jey Uso are so over that it's almost like regardless of the narrative and the opponent put in front of him, there's going to be a pop either way.
Yes.
So fortunately, there's a large target, so it's very difficult to miss just because of that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think Jey Uso wins. Right. Yeah. I think they got to give or maybe, just throwing it out there. Jey Uso takes a similar, how Sami Zayn has what was it like? Sami Zayn has fought or Drew McIntyre, like 0 for 11 against Drew McIntyre. Maybe the Jey Uso thing is he loses to Gunther and they play up the I know I can win type thing where they see, all right, we got another year of Jey Uso. Let's pump him up.
Well, you're right. Almost it's like finish the is Uso going to finish the story type of thing, right? Finish the.
They could do that.
Yeah, I mean, and then the question becomes: does somebody else beat Gunther for the belt, which then emanates into a different type of championship match between Yeet and another wrestler?
The problem with Jey Uso too is, good, decent wrestler. I wouldn't say he's on the Punk Seth Rollins level. But the mic skills, he's playing on the almost like the Stone Cold, who was great on the mic, by the way. I'm not comparing the two on the mic, but Stone Cold would do a spiel, and then the what?
Yeah.
You know, Jey Uso's doing a spiel and going, yeet.
Even last night when he was being interviewed in the back alley, the crowd was doing yeet even as he was just talking. I mean, because he was frustrated. And you could hear the yeet driving the.
Yeah, WWE's got an issue there on Raw where they haven't had a strong champion since Seth Rollins. You know, Damian Priest is not a champion. Gunther, it looks like. But you know, a lot of times, like, give him credit. Triple H will put the strap on someone, BJ, to say, like, hey, can this guy be a main eventer?
The one thing about Triple H is he's going to give wrestlers a chance. He's going to give them a chance to say, look, this is your time. If you don't make it, it's not because I didn't give you an opportunity.
Yep.
You know, you have to take advantage. You know, when the hand's dealt to you, you got to double down. If you can't do it, then we'll move on. But he doesn't keep the belt in anybody's hands for too long to create a stale narrative. He's always trying to give wrestlers a chance because he also knows that these guys aren't here forever. You've got to keep building new characters, and it takes years to build some of these guys. I mean, very, very rarely, if ever, does someone like a Logan Paul emerge that actually happens to have the in-ring skills, the mic skills, but also the tens of millions of people following him. He's got a built-in narrative of being a heel that people hate.
And they're doing a WWE draft after WrestleMania, by the way. And by the way, WrestleMania is coming to Raw in June. I don't know if you saw that or not, but want to throw that out there. What are they going to do real quick as we wrap up? I want to do two quick things. One, Chad Gable is the GOAT. They go into Mexico and then he gets a mask, a luchador mask. That dude, then when he comes back with the luchador mask, it's going to be comedy gold. It's going to be
it's going to be great. Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. Chad Gable is so good. So good. It's going to be so good with the luchador mask, dude. It is so, he's not going to win, but we are going to enjoy every minute of this storytelling of Chad Gable and his arrogance. Give me the luchador mask. He might not even wear it for the first couple weeks. He might even lose to Penta again without the mask. But dude, it's so good. You know what? And you know what would be even funnier? Here's what's even funnier. If they took this direction. Chad Gable comes back and he's not Chad Gable. He gives himself the luchador name and he pretends he's not Chad Gable. Right? If someone talks to him, goes, Chad, what's going on? You know, and does it like a fake accent and calls himself, I'm Mr. Mysterio, whatever the hell he wants to do, right? Like, I'm Mr. Supreme, and does the two finger points up in the air, whatever he does. Chad Gable should come back and not even acknowledge who the hell Chad Gable is.
Oh, yeah, almost
That's
like a brainwash.
The way they got to play this. The way they have to play it is Chad Gable never existed, and give him some wins.
Yeah, give him some wins, build it up.
Yes, that's Chad, you know, the Alpha, American Alpha, whatever the hell they call themselves, American Made. You know, they desperately want their leader. And he's like, I don't know who Chad Gable is, right? And then what might even be better is if Chad Gable then appears too, and you have, you know, like a Dude Love, Mick Foley type thing with Mankind. Remember when Mick Foley was multiple personalities?
Yeah, yeah. Hand puppet.
It might be too far out there, but I could see Chad Gable pulling something like that off. Definitely.
Yeah. You bring Chad Gable up, we still haven't seen what the eminence of the Wyatt Six are right now.
Yeah, they've been teasing it with Alexa.
They've been teasing it, yeah, but it'd be interesting to see what angle it's going to come in with.
Yeah, I hate to be a D-bag, but I don't care. You know what I mean? They just kind of threw like 6 guys that had nothing to do, and let's grow out a beard, and then let's have a feud, and then the feud goes away and we go away. It's typical what they've done, WWE, with the Wyatts, even at the tail end of they let this thing go, and then if they don't feel it's working, it just drops off. And it's probably injury related, I think. But they let this thing and it's just doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah. No. Then you got to revive it again. It's like starting an engine after it's been, out in the barn for a decade.
I like the Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross thing, because then they give you another tag team. You know, the women's division now has relevancy where it didn't at first, right? So if you have heel tag team champions, this gives you a pair of baby faces that might be able to face them in WrestleMania.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Right? The Wyatt Six up against Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez for the belt. I think people would get behind that.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think that'd be something. Hey, wrapping it up here. Where are they going with the Judgment Day with these disgruntled Finn Balor? I don't think if Finn turned face, people would give a crap. They got to be going somewhere with this. I don't
know where. I mean, it's with McDonough hurt. I mean, his right hand man's out, so you're just. I mean, basically, it's Carlito and Finn, and I think right now that's the narrative's falling apart, unless somehow like a Rhea Ripley is able to come back in and take over as Mammy and revive it. But I think that I think that's a bridge too far.
And you can't make Dominic Mysterio a face, can you? He's such a good bad.
No. I mean, look. I mean, he is baked in as the ultimate heel for the crowd. It would be, it wouldn't fit his character for him to turn face.
But he needs to be in a group, correct? I mean, if not, he's just a jobber, and he's better than he is kind of a jobber, but he's better than just a jobber.
He needs a group.
Yes, he definitely needs a group. It'll be interesting to see what they're doing with him. He's again, Dominic Mysterio is a guy who I don't even know when the last time he won. Right? I don't even remember the last time he won, but he's still relevant. I couldn't tell you when the last time he's won. But he's still
neither could I.
Yeah.
But his character's still interesting, and he still gets over in the crowd as a heel, which is great.
Oh, damn good. I'm out of town this weekend, so nothing this weekend, but maybe we'll do a little short this week.
Yeah, no, it sounds good.
Beautiful. All right, warforyou.com is the site, everybody. Thanks, BJ.
Torg.
Hey, it's Torg for Custom Air. You know, when it comes to my HVAC system, I don't trust just anyone. I trust Custom Air. These guys are fast, reliable, and they know their stuff. Fall's just around the corner, and now's the perfect time to make sure your HVAC equipment is running at its best. Don't wait until it's too late. Get ahead of the game. I wouldn't trust anyone else with my home, and neither should you. Visit them on the web at customairco.com and keep your home comfortable all season long. Custom solutions, custom comfort, Custom Air. Thinking of buying or selling a home? Give Lauren Torgerson a call with Next Home Experience. Lauren has been servicing the Columbus metropolitan area for 10 years. So whether you're a first-time home buyer, considering building, want to upsize or downsize, Lauren can help you with all your real estate needs. Get a free market analysis for your area and get started working on making tomorrow's dreams happen today. Call or text Lauren at 614-296-3952, 614-296-3952, or email at torgersonlauren@gmail.com.